And here we are in the future.
Welcome, everyone.
Are there flying cars yet, Betty?
No. Well, technically.
Have we solved world hunger?
They're called planes. Yeah, weird, I know. Hey! Look, they went to ban Draven!
Oh, that guy in the audience seems really upset.
Annie also going to be banned on the side of G2. I thought G2 was booing then. Grag is going to be taken off the board. Xayah also going to be removed. So it looks like nothing too crazy coming out from either sides, of course. Annie running rampant. We're still on patch 13.4. We will be next week as well. Varus now being removed from Hans Summer's pockets. The AD carry pool continues to get smaller. Caitlyn now removed as well. I'm curious as to what direction G2 will go. What will their AD carry be? Because we know they love to play things that can kill you.
Okay.
And we know that the number of bot lane champions that can kill you has now been greatly reduced. Samira was something. Samira, Kalista, both viable options. Lucian, of course, still up and available. Will we see also Caps' Malphite?
I hope not. Gonna be honest on that one.
Hey, he's 1 win, 1 loss, you know?
And he lost into an all-AD team.
But
so
he did
I
win
agree
one.
with Leader when he said on Euphoria, that champ sucks.
You know the meme, right? Champ doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
he's
got a sheen. He just doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
He didn't. It's fine. Anyway, Rakan first pick here for Koi. Trimby, very adept at the Rakan. Is something we've seen a couple of times today, I think, the B1 Rakan. Very difficult to actually beat a Rakan these days. Like the Q buffs, you can just Q in lane. You basically only really have to play late game Rakan, which is where he thrives. His ability to set up team fights and fight engages, his CC. I just love the champ, my dude. And then a Vi taken by G2 alongside the Heimerdinger for a bit of push priority in that bottom lane. A wise choice, you might say.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense in the context of having push in the bot lane. We know that that's what G2 love to do. The question is, what will they pair alongside it? And that's why I am thinking about whether or not a Kalista does make sense here. Lee Sin going to come out from the side of Koi. Malrang. We have, of course, seen Malrang's Lee Sin last week. People probably remember Worlds Malrang's Lee Sin, which I would encourage you to forget about. Very much so. Koi find themselves in a 1-2 position and they're in much need of a win. So jungle support synergy is something that we've seen work very well for them in the past. Ooh. And the Kai'Sa will be locked in. Okay, so a little bit more dive is the direction that Koi is looking for. Against a Heimerdinger with disengage can be a very dangerous thing to do. I wonder if we'll see something like a Sivir maybe even come out from the side of G2. Hansama just looking to get wave clear. The spell shields can be very effective against a Lee Sin as well.
And a Rakan. Things are very tricky for him to find those knockups. You can, run at him really quickly with the charm and then use the knockup afterwards. But instead, the Ashe, usually seen as the support, but does have a 100% win rate on it. Hans Summer.
Unless they hit us with the switcher-doodle-doo. They put the Heimer mid, yeah. Ashe support, and there's still an AD carry to come.
I just remember the Heimer jungle game. It was in OGN. They played Heimer jungle like Blitzcrank Alistair, and they pushed in the top inhibitor at like 10 minutes in the game.
Yeah. Wait, but wasn't that with the banner of commands?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, that was.
That's what I want to see. Put Vi
really old.
Yeah. Been around for a little while.
You made this funny joke where I was like, I told Ender I was jungling before he was born, and then you were like, when's that season 4? And like that was 10 years ago. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, it was a while.
Playing the game for a while.
There's the Lissandra ban. So maybe an Ahri from G2. There's Silas taken away by Koi. Don't want G2 getting their hands on that. And so far, no real focus on the top side, top lane. Both junglers locked in, both the bot sides locked in, and now...
Well, let's think about what they need, right? Koi, they're going for more dive. Things like Kled is something that we've often seen paired up with champions like this. I think even something like a Jax can also work. Gnar can also make sense for Koi if they want to go for something a little bit safe. I think that they could also pivot and go for a little bit more of a pick comp if they wanted to. Something like a Ryze, Jace, 4-5 is something they could also take into consideration. I think a lot of it depends on what G2 is interested in blind picking. The LeBlanc, Lissandra. I'm trying to think of champions that are very good into LeBlanc. I wonder if they are thinking about Nakali. They may also be thinking about an Ahri for themselves. Vi Ahri can be a very prominent duo, gives you a lot of mobility as well, something that can be pretty effective. The Jade's actually being banned away themselves by Koi, so maybe they're looking for something a little bit more weak side up towards the top lane.
Yeah, well, G2 already have a huge amount of pick, right? If you have Ahri alongside that, the Jace poke from long range makes that pick even better. G2 could look towards the Corki, not the most exciting champion.
I see him laughing on someone's face.
It's probably not going to be the Corki, but it gives you a good poke, you know? Instead, Talia to be on the menu.
Same principle, same idea. We've been seeing this combo a lot, Talia Vi. Really effective roaming duo, really good at setting up for dives as well. You combine the ultimate with the Vi alongside the W, that chain CC, very effective. And champions with dashes, Rakan, Lee Sin, Kai'Sa, all these champions just have a much harder time to play when going up against Talia as well.
It's a hell. It's a hell as Rakan to try and do anything into a Talia. She puts down that unraveled earth and life becomes a bit of a misery. Koi looking towards their mid lane first, it seems, waiting a little bit before. Oh, in fact, they're doing the little switcheroo at the last moment. There's the Gnar, safe for Shigenda up towards that top side. And now they have a little bit more time to think about where they want to go with Larsen's pick.
I kind of want to bring that freeze frame of the Gnar up production. That was...
Ooh, okay. Been a while since we've seen a Twisted Fate, Betty.
True. For those that don't remember, Larsen was like undefeated on the champion for a really long time. I forget exactly what his win rate is on the champ, but I'm sure Medic will find it for me in a second.
I'm doing it.
The champ hasn't been seen in pro play very much, but
80%, Betty.
Yeah, 80%. There was a period in time in EU where you just had to permaban it against him because he was just so impactful on the map. Which is funny because often when people think of Larsen, they think of this control mage player that doesn't roam around, but whenever he got his hands on the Twisted Fate, this is kind of where you saw that opposite in terms of his playstyle. I think that Lee Sin Twisted Fate isn't the most lethal mid-jungle duo, but the gold card makes it so much easier for you to set up for your CC. So we talked about how Koi could pivot to more of a pick comp, and that's very much what they've done. They don't really have a lot of early game agency or a reliable lane to play through. I think that they could consider attacking bot with your Rakan setup, but the problem is they're going to be permanently pushed underneath their tower. And you kind of look across the boards, Cap's going to have that push priority in the mid lane 1 versus 1. The bot lane also going to have that push priority. Broken Blade, sure, against a ranged champion, he may be bullied a little bit. They may threaten to dive that top side of the map. But overall, I think that G2 just have a lot more agency and options in the early game.
And we did see how that top lane matchup can go in favor of the Jax as well if he starts to get a couple of kills under his belt. So definitely possible that Broken Blade starts to run away with that top lane. Koi, though, struggling in week 1. They went 1-2, only able to pick up a win against Heretics. G2 lost that game to Astralis and then rounded out with 2 more wins. They're looking to get 3-1 so they can match up against Vitality tomorrow and bring them down a peg and out the Sunday at the top of the leaderboards. But this is a matchup we have seen many times over the last few years, Vedius. Over the course of it, G2 tend to come out on top, but of course, Rogue were able to win out last summer. We'll see if they can win today as well, as Koi take on G2.
Of course, the last time we did see G2 versus Koi was the upper bracket. 3-1 was the scoreline in favor of G2. We saw them get a commanding 2-0 lead, and then the third game, we saw Koi kind of default back to comfort, that kind of scaling front to back control mage, along with, I think it was a Zeri. And then they ended up winning out on... well, they actually beat G2 out in the early game because that was the Kalista game, and G2 couldn't quite get the early game lead that they were used to, but then immediately game 4, back to business. G2 dominating and stomping. And then, of course, Koi fell short to Mad. So at the end of last split, everyone was thinking, well, Koi seems to be back in form. They look like another top team once again. Kind of business as usual, returning back to what we expected. And then they start the split off looking rough once more. And this early game from Koi throughout the split season has not been good. You can see 0 first bloods. They currently have 0 first towers, and they average a minus 2k gold at the 14-minute mark. This is a Koi that we have not been used to seeing, and some have debated, is it the changes to the jungle, where like Malrang's early game aggressive style isn't as effective as it was, and often when we see Koi getting these early leads, it is off the back of Malrang, his creative pathing, his clever early ganks, and his ability to navigate vision. We'll see what Koi are able to do in this early game, especially against a powerhouse team like G2, who are so prolific at finding these early game leads.
And Malrang creative pathing once again. He went Wolves red buff.
Yep.
Has been spotted on a ward here. Yike was spotted on his own red buff, so both junglers' pathing is, well, not their entirety of their pathing, but their current location at least. The GPS is locked onto them now, but it can be turned off, obviously, at a moment's notice as Yike is working his way down towards the bottom side of the map. As expected, Hansama and Mickey look to have the push down towards that bottom lane. Comp only got 1 CS so far. Very difficult for Rakan and Kai'Sa to really answer the pressure that an Ashe and a Heimerdinger can put on early game. And Mickey has actually had some pretty impressive performances on this Heimerdinger across the course of 2023. I think probably the best Heimerdinger player we have in Europe, at least the best one that we have seen on the LEC stage.
Perhaps. Right now he is pushing bot alongside Nicky X. Broken Blade with the Doran's Ring top start. Of course the W and the E scaling with AP along with the ultimate does give you that extra bit of damage in the early game. Often you can see that Doran's shield though against range matchups, but if you want to fight, then it does give you a little bit more early laning power. Malrang hovering around mid lane. Yike will spot him.
Yike himself was spotted as well. You see as he waits around in that blue side jungle. Broken Blade looking for the counter-strike here. Shigenda able to dodge away from it. And Malrang, you've got no camps on this side of the map.
Well, he did clear them all out.
Yeah. So
now the junglers are just kind of looking at each other.
And Yike's like, oh, Krugs. No Krugs instead. Perhaps a bot lane dive is in order. Comp, though, does obviously still have that cleanse and the flash. Caps has worked his way all the way up towards the top side. While we were distracted, it's sleight of hand from G2 as Caps, using that rock surfing passive, was able to make a very quick approach to that top lane.
All right, wards over the wall. Will spot out Caps. Will interrupt the back. Actually go in. Good damage from Malrang. Has to be careful getting close to that tower, though. Q should be up soon. They're looking for the dive here. Larson has the stun card. Will now disappear.
It's going to be counter dive. You can see Yike already setting it up on that bottom lane. Larson popped the gold card, had it available. Now it has expired. We'll be working that one back up. Here it comes.
You need to commit to this.
Malrang can go in as well.
Backing off.
Wow,
they're hesitant here. I feel like this is such a free dive for Koi, but they're afraid to commit to the play. Now Yike, is he going to back off as well? Bit of chip damage going away from Hansama. I am amazed that G2 just walk away from that unscathed. They had flash gold cards. Malrang's Q, like, Caps has no cleanse.
And the net effect of it is Hansama and Mickey get a plate in the bottom lane, and Shigenda just gets to chip away at Broken Blade's health bar.
Okay, wow. I mean, that definitely warrants some VOD review, but to me, that felt like a straightforward dive from Koi. Perhaps something that I was missing. But in my head, flash, stun from Larson, into Q from Malrang and Shigenda. Seems like an easy kill. Regardless, Shigenda, no flash available to him. TP invested now from Larson back into mid lane. No first blood will come down. And as you rightly said, only a small advantage gained for Hansama in terms of the isolated 2-2. Very much what we expected. A lot of push in the bot side in favor of G2. Same type of push in favor of G2 in the mid lane. TP now going to come out from the 2 top lane. And so overall, this early game going stock standard. Well, disappointment. I was optimistic that these teams would fist fight in the early game. You know, the good old days, Rogue versus G2. The battle of the junglers, you know, early game action. This could
5
be
minutes
it.
in, Daddy. Broken Blade does still have the flash here, so again, just going to hop over him. Broken Blade flashes
That's an early
down.
flash.
Malrang can flash look for the Tempest Cripple.
Q.
There's a leap strike. Destiny, gold card. Broken Blade locked up when you ask for blood. And Koi deliver.
There it is. Nice play from Koi. They punish the aggression from Broken Blade. And Larson just ticking over to 6 means that he is able to secure that kill in the top lane. This is what we definitely need to be seeing from the Twisted Fate, having as much map impact as possible. Look at this as well. Malrang hovering around the top side of the map. It looks like he's actually not going to commit to another play. But of course, Yike in this window, going to secure the Drake, the cross map, as expected. Let's have a look back at this. If we look at Broken Blade's vision, he has no idea that the jungler is making his way over. You'll notice as well that Malrang's going to throw out the Q, then ward jump, land the E as well, land another auto attack, and then land the second Q afterwards to try and get as much damage down to gain as much value out of the Q as possible. Then the Twisted Fate ultimate, the giant eye over the head of Broken Blade, means that Koi can see the future of his demise. Now Malrang making his way towards bot, still needs to hit that level 5. Decent wave here, but I don't think he can really convert this into much. The cleanse available on Hansama. exhaust as well for Mickey. It's a difficult play to make in the bot lane.
Yeah, very tricky, especially when you're facing into those turrets. Mickey is going to be able to put a lot of damage down as you try and chase onto him. Yikes, spotted on this control ward. Shigenda, wave not in the best of shapes for him. Would love to be able to get that one away from the tower. And it looks like Broken Blade is going to help him out by pushing it in. Probably looking to keep Shigenda under wraps for the moment. Mickey? I think he used the rockets there and they were all tanked by the minions.
Yep.
So after I praised him earlier on, perhaps not the best.
The best timer in Europe, yep.
It just shows how bad the rest of them are, apparently. Mickey already got his warding totem upgraded though. Sorry, his
the vision is good.
Upgraded.
Do they have TF ultimate? Yeah. Oh, flash in.
Cleanse flash away from Hans Summer. Trimby down to 300 HP. Mauran looking for the Q as well, but still no
Good
six.
stun.
Stunned up, locked up, and those turrets start to do a lot of work. Trimby. Oh, the grenade just short from Mickey. Trimby pops out a gleaming quill and will heal up a little bit. Mauran could look for a little bit more. There's the 6. Mauran going on to Mickey. Mickey flashes away already. Trimby's down. They kick Hans Summer. Mauran stunned up, and Hans Summer and Mickey going to turn it around. Oh, Koi, absolute disaster in the bottom lane. They tried to make the play happen. Mauran didn't even get a chance to use his ultimate. And Hans Summer now 2-0.
You can see the observers trying to show us that Larssen was making his way towards the bot lane. It was interrupted by Caps. Koi thought that they could create a 4 versus 2 in the bot lane, but instead, in the 2 versus 3, G2's bot lane walk away the victors.
Is there a way to ban Hans Summer? Because it seems like ban and draving isn't enough against G2 right
Yike. Now going to gank top.
Cease and desist available for Yike. Has that ultimate. Shigenda no flash 2. 1 second on it. They'll wait for him to burn it before they use the ultimates. In fact, they used them early, and there's the knockback, and that's why you got to wait a second. Mauran coming in, does have that Dragon's Rage. Leap strike away. Yike able to escape with the Vault Breaker as well.
Damn. So the gold remains even for the time being, largely thanks to the advantage Larssen is building in mid. Of course, Twisted Fate able to generate a lot of gold for himself. But in the bot lane, Hans Summer. We're going to look back at exactly how this one played out. So this starts initially with Trimby flashing in, trying to get the knock-up flash cleanse. Bit of an early cleanse from Hans Summer. Doesn't really net him any benefit, but a really good stun from Mickey means that they're able to get a lot of damage back down onto Mauran, and Comp and Trimby can't really follow up. Now Trimby's forced to disengage, and it's at this point where they're thinking maybe I could roam from mid down, but then Caps interrupts. Hans Summer gets that initial kill. Oh, the stun from Mickey. Wait.
No, so it's he loses vision on the first kick. Hans Summer then ults him, so he gets stunned as he's in the animation of the second kick. That's absurd as Mauran looks for the kick in the mid lane. Caps flashes away, and Yike, body block. Seismic Shove was used. Mauran now has to retreat. Broken Blade's on his way as well. Good jump away by Mauran. Should have the safeguard back up, but Yike still able to secure the kill. The amount of utility from G2. They're chucking smokes, they're chucking mollies. I'm pretty sure I've seen, I know.
The orbital strike.
The orbital strike, thank you. This game as well. Destiny, Hans Summer, no cleanse, no flash, nowhere to go. And Hans Summer, with none of his teammates left for them, will be shut down. Comp takes it. That's huge for Koi, able to bounce something back on the map.
So at the very least, a little bit goes back into Koi's pocket. And admittedly, this is going to close the gold gap between the two AD carries, which will help Comp. Why are they just basing in front of Mickey, guys? Come on. He's going to keep interrupting you.
But if Trimby distracts Mickey, then Comp gets to base.
Oh, he's trying to... Okay, nice. Good stuff there from Trimby, body blocking. But Cap's going to now push in this wave. He can likely secure another plate for himself as they send Hans Summer to go and catch mid. Now they're threatening the dive onto Trimby. He's going to recognize that, disengage. And of course, Yike has the Herald, which means that they should be able to convert this into a tower. A lot of this coming off the back of Mickey's great interrupts, but even if they went back to base, this should have been an easy objective, and just great lane assignments coming out from G2. As Koi find themselves now in a very difficult position. Larssen getting interrupted once again. Mickey just being so annoying on this Heimendinger.
And even if Trimby wanted to look for the engage there, the Unraveled Earth doing its work. Hans Summer has the arrow. Hits onto Comp, cleanses away. Seismic Shove just short. Yike looking for a little bit more. Still has the ultimate. In the end, all they really want is this turret out of it. First tower blood at 11 minutes 30 seconds. Mauran on his way, but G2 already retreating from the battlegrounds. Now Mauran doesn't have flash, he does have the Q. It's calling to him, but this time his head agrees with his body and he doesn't go in.
Yeah, and that's a large part of why, hang on a second, they're looking to collapse onto Larssen in the river.
Broken Blade has no ultimate now. There's the Weaver's wall. Comp and Trimby instead the target. Seismic shove just short then. The grenade gets the slow. Maoran going in, cease and desist. They're going to try and keep Comp alive, and he dashes and dives across the wall. Perfect use of the ultimate there. You could see Koi were holding all of their shields, all of their utility, until someone went too deep. And then immediately they dived to save their AD carry.
Patient performance from Koi, and the aggression from G2 very well punished. I didn't think Comp was going to be able to get out of that, but some great teamwork between the three of them means that he can walk away to safety. Jigenda, 2-level lead over Broken Blade. Did he actually... I missed what happened on the top side of the map, but Jigenda in a very comfortable position. He has a 2k gold lead.
Broken Blade did roam to mid that one time, but I don't really know.
Yeah, I wasn't keeping track of that top lane matchup. I largely thought that it was pretty even, but the CS difference is pretty massive. Let's have a look back here now. So Caps misses the CC, which doesn't help. Great sidestep there from Comp. Then the ultimate comes through from Mickey to apply the slow. And look, this Q from Maorang lands. He then follows it up. The shield comes in from both the Lee Sin and the Rakan, and the ultimate away from Comp then provides him the added needed safety to create distance enough to allow them to secure that kill onto Yike. Just very great coordination, and honestly, no panic being seen from Comp as he trusts in his team.
And no panic from his teammates either. Trimby, 78% win rate on this Rakan. It's his most played across the course of his career here in the LEC. And we continue to see just how good he can be on it. I think all great supports in Europe have to be known for their Rakan at some time or another. You know, Hilly, Mickey, Trimby as well.
I mean, look at this though. Like, we haven't really talked much about this top lane matchup, and I'm kind of disappointed in myself for being caught so unawares by a 2.5k gold lead. But like, look at the CS difference. It's like a 50 CS gap between the two top laners right now. The gold is even, but I feel like it's not really reflective of the state of the game right now.
Jigenda has most gold.
But look at this. You can see the top four. Of the top 4 gold earners, Koi find themselves in 3. Caps hasn't really been able to find that much success from his roams. We have seen Hansama and Mickey outplaying the bot side of the map. But by and large, Comp is in a very comfortable position right now. The 280 carries find themselves even in terms of gold. Comp is working towards that first item still. Hansama has the arrow, but that will be sidestepped by Comp. Doesn't quite have the cleanse back up yet. The big difference though is G2 do of course have the 2 dragons, and they've already secured the first tower of the game.
I will say Koi seem to be in a much stronger position than they have been so far this spring split. It was only 12 minutes ago we brought up that graphic. On average 2,000 gold behind at the 14-minute mark here against G2, about 1,000 gold ahead at this point in the game, and all of that falls on Jigenda's shoulders. He had that great performance on the Jace last week.
They did.
Struggled in some of the other games, but here absolutely bullying Broken Blade in a matchup that we have seen go the other way. I think most people would say Nara is relatively good into the Jax, at least in the early game, and here Jigenda is showing just how dominant it can be. Maoran got the second Rift Herald of the game, and it looks like Koi are investing more into this top side. Continue to take the turrets, continue to put pressure on the map, and see what G2 do to answer.
Something that G2 have done pretty consistently is invest vision around this bot side of the map. They're constantly looking for picks, constantly looking to try and catch Koi out, but Koi aren't falling for the bait. They haven't been caught out once in the bot side of the map. It is a tried and true strategy for G2, which has largely left their top laner without resources.
Yep.
We did see Caps try and assist early on in the game, but aside from that, Broken Blade has either been making plays elsewhere on the map with the rest of his team, or been left to fend for himself, and Jigenda has taken full advantage of that. A fully plated tower taken in the top lane, a second secured for him, and now you look at his itemization, you look at the position of power that he comes in with, and Koi have done a great job of weathering the storm for the most part. There is 1 level difference between the 280 carries, but now with the Kraken Slayer finish for Comp, Koi are in a great position to get an upset over G2.
Yeah, and opening up the map this well just allows Twisted Fate so much more pressure on the map. You know, if you have Jigenda pushing in a side lane, the ability for Koi to collapse in that lane can be astronomical. Of course, G2 have some tools at their disposal as well. You have the arrow, you have the Weaver's Wall from Caps. He can get between lanes relatively quickly, but the difficulty now for G2 becomes, how do we contain the Gnar? How do we deal with Jigenda, who is in such a strong position? And part of the reason he was brought into this Koi lineup over Odoamne was his ability to carry him. Perhaps he's going to have to carry a little bit more because Maoran has been caught away, flashes out. Hansama with the arrow, that's going wide.
And they'll walk away once again safely. Maorang falling prey to the play that G2 have consistently made. of course, you understand why he feels safe. They've pushed in their bot lane with Jigenda, and he has his support right next to him. But G2 still find a way to make the play. Fortunately for Malrang, he plays it well. Uses the flash kick to create space between him and Yike, and then runs to the safety of his teammates. Did, of course, cost him his flash. Potentially makes that insect play a little bit later harder. But regardless, Koi in a great position now. We're kind of looking at that next Drake as being the big point of contention. They're going to send the Twisted Fate to top to push out that wave. But Koi, overall, looking very solid in the early game. Not been a crazy bloodbath. Not been too chaotic. We'll see if they can continue to find picks, because the side lanes are where things get scary for G2. With Koi being in such a great position to keep finding these picks. And you can even see Cleanse now picked up for Caps, thanks to the spellbook. And Summer with his Cleanse backup, definitely going to help a lot against this Twisted Fate.
Koi is such a strange team to watch at times. As Jigenda goes in, dodges.
Oh, the damage.
He's got the hyper, he's got the movement speed, he's got the boomerang, he's got the autos with the stopwatch! Into the Destiny. Oh, it was stopped. How was Destiny stopped? Mickey must have stopped it with a grenade. That's absurd. Mickey keeps his mid laner alive. Now Broken Blade is on the chase. Season Desist going in as well, and Malrang will fall. I would love to see how Larson was dissuaded from joining the fight. Yikes going in, Jigenda will take him. In fact, it's Trimby with the Ignite. Broken Blade now perhaps overstepping a little bit. Koi's still able to collapse and make it a 1-for-1.
Caps continues to play on the edge in a way in which so many other players refuse. He knew he had the stopwatch, but Larson, for all intent and purposes, should have secured that kill.
I think it was Mickey.
We'll have to wait and see. The arrow connects. Cleanse comes through from Larson. He'll be able to get away to safety. The dragon is alive. Jigenda pushes in mid. They're waiting for Malrang to come back out onto the map. Comp is going to push out that bot wave. He has all of his summoners. So do both Caps and Han Summer. But it's Koi who are in control of the river.
And over this third Drake as well. As only the Cloud will have another look at this. You can see Jigenda, he gets that extra movement speed from the hyper.
Moves here. Yeah, beautiful play from Jigenda. So close to chipping away at him. And then the Twisted Fate gonna ult in, and then Mickey.
Okay, it's not as special as I thought it was. Larson's just standing in the river.
Ends up getting caught out there. Unfortunate for Larson, would have been a kill. But if this TP had come through and this collapse, you can even see the Trimby was putting himself in a position to help the Twisted Fate get out of that position. But at the end of the day, ends up being a 1-for-1. Bit of an overcommitment here from Yike. Realizes that they've gone too deep and they can't get out. The only good news for G2 is it's Trimby that actually picks up that kill.
Yeah, it's always a difficulty when you go in too deep. You're trying to keep that rush of blood from getting to your head, and instead you go under. And it's just a tricky situation for Yike. A couple of times we see him a bit over eager. Cease and desist into the seismic shove, and Trimby still able to dash away, but Yike slaps him away. Another kill over to G2, and that's what these pick comps can do. You find your man, you find your mark, and you put the enemy at a man disadvantage for the next 20 seconds.
Yeah, Trimby not doing anything inherently wrong there. You could argue always have a ward buddy when looking to try and get some vision, but I don't think it really would have helped him in that situation. No flash at his disposal means that it's very easy for G2 with this Talia Vi combo to find that pick and walk away with the kill.
I think as well, Rakan is one of those supports where having a ward buddy is more optional. It's a bit like Pike, because you have so much mobility that even if you're a little caught out, often you can escape. Trimby going for the Merc Treads here to try and get away from some of that CC. Often we see the cooldown boots, Ionian boots of lucidity, but Merc here makes a lot of sense.
So you'll notice now, Broken Blade pushes out that bot wave, moves into Fog of War.
Caps is cycling unsealed spellbook there.
I thought that they might be threatening a collapse into mid and then threaten that mid tier 1 tower. It looks like that they're going to go back, push out that bot wave once more as Malrang covers for Jigenda in top lane, worried about Cap's potential play. Now Comp and Trimby moving to this top river. G2 have fought aggressively to protect this vision, but they will be forced to concede it as they need to reset and catch some of these waves. Broken Blade now actually going to make his return to base. Grab up that, I think it was the Seeker's Arm Guard that he just got. A lot of control was being invested. Of course, the problem for both teams right now is that they want to secure these mid-tier 1s, but for both sides, it's not an easy thing to do.
Yep.
You look at the pick threat from G2, and you know that an Ash Arrow, Vialt, Heimerdinger, all these annoying things that can prevent you from sieging or punish you for getting too close to the tower. Quite same thing, that gold card and the Rakan all in engage. These things can be so fast, so ruthless, but it's not an easy thing to do, so you kind of have to just play the map better, force someone to be in a position that they don't want to be in, and then try and secure that objective when you have the numbers advantage. And right now, G2 once again, look at how quickly they've reclaimed control over this river. This space belongs to them. That makes it much harder for Koi to consider contesting the Baron. But they do have their fair share of deep wards themselves, as our observers are highlighting for us. And this means that they have potential TP flanks, or at least a bit of information as to what G2 is up to.
Yeah, it really means that if Hans Sommer is moving around looking for an arrow from Fog of War, that you have that vision on them. G2 tried to clear out that top side of the jungle, but didn't quite get high enough in their jungle to actually gain full control of it. Here, Hans Sommer once again stepping into the darkness, looking to see perhaps if they can find a pick. Trimby still, it seems, their priority target.
It's interesting. I can see some of the pings that come down in-game from the players, and Malrang pinging the cleanse on top of Caps. They're talking about looking for a pick, potentially, onto him when he's clearing out these sideways, but I think they're highlighting as well, he's not that easy to catch off guard because he does have this cleanse at his disposal, and you talked about him cycling through these spells. Burnt the barrier earlier whilst maintaining onto that cleanse. So while he doesn't have the TP, he does of course still have the ultimate available. Is pretty much a full level behind Larssen right now, who's catching that bot wave. He's spending a lot more time in a side lane. Caps now ticking over to 14 as Larssen, as he does, just hits over to 15. Also remember that Rod of Ages, yep.
A little bit of a cheat when you want to get a level advantage. Just get something that gives you one by that extra skill point. It's pay to win, League of Legends. Just have to give Boris the gold and he gives you the things.
That he does, Medic, that he does.
G2 going to walk up through some vision that Koi have laid down here. They are still looking to break either the top tier 1 or the mid tier 1. You see it's only Shigenda here defending right now. Trimby just around the corner is on his way, and without Hans Sommer here, that tower doesn't fall too quickly. Trimby might look for something. Destiny available for Larssen.
They're threatening the mid lane. Look at Broken Blade. They have to be careful though because he does have
Exhaust. Counter-Strike.
Yep, the Counter-Strike is the annoying part of that combo. They will get a bit of chip damage off. The Exhaust not really lost from Larssen. He wanted to just throw it out. But you can see a lot of posturing. The ultimate.
This is very deep, but the arrow goes in. There's the cleanse from Comp. Seismic Shove was just a little too late. Yike uses the ultimate. Comp does have to burn both his summoners, and that means next time G2 have those ultimates back.
Exactly. G2 will have the lower cooldown advantage here, which means the Comp is easy pickings if they're able to find another good fight. The problem is they've committed a lot of ultimates just as the dragon is about to spawn. Koi still have control over this bot side river, and they should be able to secure this largely uncontested. Again, they're going to go back to base after pushing in that top wave. They're going to send Broken Blade from G2 to go and catch it. And that means that Jigenda is in a much better position to assist his team. The dragon begins, and Hans Sommer at G2 actually looking to contest. Broken Blade does have the TP, of course, stun lands.
Double TP's coming in. Shigenda's going to answer. A little bit of that Gnar bar built up. Dragon down to 2,000. Broken Blade going in. Larssen flashing away. Trimby already caught the quickness coming out. He can't go in though with the Unravel Earth is already there. Malrang gets the smite onto the Drake. Trimby low, dashing and dancing and weaving his way around. Hans Sommer will fall. Yike has to flash away. And Koi are winning the fight. They find one. Trimby answered. Broken Blade low. Killer Instinct in by Comp immediately onto Broken Blade, and he'll get him as well. The Gnar into the wall as Mickey falls. Caps, the last man standing in the fight at least. Yike trying to do what he can to come in, but Malrang keeps back into it. A double for Koi. They get the Drake, they get the fight, and they get everything that they desire.
An incredibly well played fight from Koi, and a lot of the credit needs to go to Trimby. At the very start of the fight, it looked like that he was caught out. Mickey even committed the ultimate to trying to zone his engage away, but he finds a way onto Hans Sommer. He locks him down, and Jigenda is able to find that kill. Now Yike does have access to the pit.
Shigenda's ult is up in 3 seconds. The arrow coming in as well. That hits Shigenda. Knocked back into the pit, and now Yike can look for it. 2,000. Oh, that was beautiful from Shigenda. Flashes in the way of the Vault Breaker. Yike can do nothing about the Gnar that stands in his way. TP coming in as G2 look to invest a little bit more into this fight, but even with the Weaver's Wall, Shigenda's on the right side of it, as is Trimby. Seismic Shove was wide. Trimby survives. Shigenda turns it back around. Mickey able to join the fight as well. G2 forced away in. 5 Barons remain on Koi.
And just keep your eyes in this choke point by Larssen, because Broken Blade initiates the fight and it splits up Koi. Comp is now afraid. He has to play with Malrang, but keep your eyes on Trimby. Look at how he flashes over the wall, knocks up. Hans Sommer doesn't get a window to flash, or cleanse away rather. Flashes over the wall after the final hit lands, and on the bot side of the FAP, Koi can regroup. It looks pretty good initially as they get that pick onto Trimby, and Larssen falls as well, but Comp is still alive, still has the ultimate available, is able to get that execute onto Broken Blade with the W, and then Mickey gets Gnarred into the wall. Huge props to Trimby, really great initiation that really cements the fight. And then Caps does still have the flash here, but then It was a quicker reaction from Malrang. Yeah, kick into flash over the wall.
Yeah, the power of kick flash obviously is that it roots your target as you go past them. So they cannot flash react unless they dodge away from the Sonic Wave in those sorts of situations. Now Koi with the Baron, 4,500 gold ahead. They got the Dragon in that last one as well, but that was the smallest part of their total prize. You can see the damage that Shigenda's putting out in these fights. The arrow goes in, and supercharges his way out of that one. Just weaves his way around, dodging to the side. 2 waves pushed in, Shigenda in the mid lane, being answered by Hans Summer, but that Ashe is going to struggle to deal with the Gnar. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Larssen looking for the rapid fire cannon. Cease and desist going in onto Comp, but Yike is so deep here. The rest of his team nowhere to be found, it seems. Yike already down, Trimby dashing away from the seismic shove. Shigenda can join the fray from the top side as well, and Trimby gets in with a charm once again, sacrificing himself for the good of the team. Shigenda will tank this to make sure that Malrang can get away. The tower falls, and now with the Destiny in, Larssen's looking for a little bit more. The cleanse away from Hans Summer. Koi continue to advance, or Shigenda. First misstep he's made this game. It feels wild cards will send Mickey to his maker as Koi look for the win.
Look at this. Comp yet to die this game, and with the Nexus in their eyes, Koi is looking to get a big upset win over G2.
Koi go from awful to amazing in the course of a week. It seems Hansana stunned up. Koi may have to back away. G2 continue to fight even at death's door, but after last week's performance, I thought the regular season Koi had returned, and here against G2, they put them to the ropes. TP in once again. This didn't work out too well for you last time, G2, when you overchased, you overfought. The cease and desist available for Yike. Flash up in probably 20 seconds time, but in the end, G2 will give up the ghost on the chase.
I mean, huge props to Shigenda, along with Trimby in these engages. Like, I say that, Shigenda's not even in this fight initially, but Trimby immediately there to protect from his team. Notice that he's not committing anything yet. He's then providing that initial peel for Comp. They get that first pick. And then it's at this point where he's like, hey, we can dive this. The stun card lands from Larssen. He then gets the extra W. Charms as well, Broken Blade, as he tries to get something back. And now the collapse onto Hans Summer. No flash, no cleanse.
And nowhere to go. Comp dominating now on the Kai'Sa, 6-0. He's in a prime position to end this one for Koi. Weaver's Wall coming out, just trying to cut the wave. It will do that for about 4 seconds, but thankfully the minions like a bit of Safari as they go through the jungle to try and make their way back to the mid lane. Only 1 minion stands, backdoor bonus applied to this turret, but Koi don't seem to give a damn about that as they will take it out. Shigenda keeping 4 players of G2 away from the action. And they're about to send them to have an early bath, it seems. Game not gone the way the G2 would have liked, but Koi very happy. The Gnar once again from Shigenda hits only air, but it doesn't really matter. Koi are just too far ahead. Broken Blade though with a good double stun. The seismic shove coming out. Comp still alive on the backline here. Larssen has to flush away. Shigenda in the mini Gnar will chase out Caps. The arrow just wide as Comp able to sidestep it. Seismic shove not enough to keep Shigenda from finding another kill. And another inhibitor tower and inhibitor will fall. Shigenda might look for a little bit more. Broken Blade, no flash. Mickey the same. Oh, here's his back up, it seems, as Shigenda decides against pursuing any further conflict. However, the Dragon up, TP in as well, Vetty. And neither team willing to give this one up, it seems. Larssen coming in, and Mickey going back to the fountain. 6 feet under, buried with the rest of his team. Yike trying to trade onto Comp, but Comp wins these, I'm afraid, Yike. Try as you might, you can't take down the Kai'Sa, underkilled and undefeated today, it seems. Red card for Larssen. It's his best Reggie cosplay. Pops the stopwatch, getting gold, something Reggie hasn't done for a long time. Gold card coming in as well as Broken Blade, chased out by Larssen down towards the bottom side. Hans Summer finds some solace in the fountain, but all he'll be sipping is tears of defeat as Comp takes the Nexus and Koi take the win.
A big win for Koi and a much-needed performance from the organization. A team that, right now, you never really know what you're going to get. We see some lows, but today was a high.
Koi is like a box of chocolates, Vetty. You never know what you're going to get.
But today they looked great all across the board. Shigenda really just building a massive advantage in the top lane 1v1. Trimby continuing his impressive record with the Rakan, finding great engages, and then Comp